Hello, I'm Jess and welcome to Crime Mukbang. Today I'm joined here by two guests.
Hi, I'm Kai.
And I'm Kenzie.
Today we'll be looking at the Roberts Bunset's case, the one that happened here in the home of Lincolnshire, Boston. So let's go and dive in, shall we? Obviously, Kai, I'll start with you. You knew Roberts quite well.
Yeah.
What was he like as a person? Who was he?
He was a great friend. He was an amazing person. Obviously, I met him through primary and my mum knowing his dad and them going out for coffees every now and then. Because obviously his mum wasn't in his life really. She lived in, I think it was Latvia.
Yeah, Latvia, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously his dad was practically living as a single dad to him. So they were at home alone most of the time. So it'd be fun for them. It'd be good for them to have that little bit of company every now and then. And I think it helped Roberts as well a little bit, having people over a little bit of the time. Because obviously you don't want to be staying with the same person in the same place all the time, do you? And obviously when you're in primary, you're a bit young. You're not as trusted to go out into town with your mates. So I think just having that little friendship where there's someone that knows your dad so they can come over with their child who's around your age just makes it that little bit better. And yeah, he was a great friend.
Did you know him from anywhere else, or was it like you're explaining right now, just a family friend,
Primary school, yeah.
School?
We both went to Hawthorne Tree, which was just around the corner from where the incident happened. I met him, I think I was in year 3 and he was in year 4 when we first started hanging out, so
just quite young, you knew him very
Yeah.
well then. Kenzie, obviously, I don't know if you know him that well, but obviously you know more about the murder itself,
Yeah, the
leading
case.
up to it. Can you explain who it involved, or not the murder itself
Yeah.
yet, just up to that point?
Okay, so the murder involved a 12-year-old boy who Kyle was explaining, his friend, Robert Spunsis, who also went to my school, Haven High. And the killer who murdered him is called Marcel. And he was just 2 years older, so 14 years old. The murder took place on December the 12th, 2020. Literally just a few days before his birthday. So, 13th birthday. Which is really upsetting.
It's not great to be you thought you were going to celebrate your birthday very soon, and then something shocking happens to you.
Yeah, that's really upsetting.
Were they friends?
Yeah, they were friends upcoming 4 months before the murder. They was in the same friend group, same school, just hanging out, close friends, because, you can get close with someone in 4 months. So I would say that they're close friends, yeah.
Yeah. Coming up to, on the day it happened,
Yeah.
the murder itself,
Mhm.
what actually happened?
Coming up to it, I'm not so sure about that. Was it a week before Marcel had been kicked out of Haven?
Yeah, something like that.
For bringing in cannabis. And then obviously there was also the fact that Marcel had an idea that Roberts had snitched on him bringing in the cannabis or dealing it. And then also they were both arguing over a girl. And then next thing you know, Marcel's texting Roberts at 2:30 in the morning, asking him to go out and meet him and offering Roberts 50 quid to move some cannabis for him. Obviously Roberts went. There was no 50 quid. Marcel tried to claim that Roberts, out of anger, went to stab him, and then Marcel claimed self-defence for stabbing him over 70 times and trying to decapitate him. And also before he went out, Marcel texted his friend Martin, "It's happening."
So he had it pre-planned.
Yeah.
Especially, 100% had it pre-planned if you're messaging someone.
Yeah,
That
it's happening.
And
And
then
then,
proceeding to murder someone, even if you call it self-defence or whatever.
You can't call it self-defence.
Not if you've been stabbed over 70 times.
And with the message.
Almost get decapitated.
Also, bringing a knife to a scene which is not needed is not classed as self-defence at all. You can literally just push someone as self-defence. You don't need to bring a knife to a scene.
You don't have to get that far to killing someone.
And there was no evidence that Roberts had bought a knife whatsoever.
It doesn't sound like he would have if someone messaged him at 2:30 in the morning asking to make a quick
Yeah.
deal.
He wouldn't, would he? But they found the knife with Robert's blood under the plant pot in his back garden, Marcel's back garden. And then they found, I think it was 5 more in his bedroom.
So he definitely had ideas of what to do and like,
Yeah.
what to use, and it could have been used for like future stuff as well. It might not have even been just for
He could,
Roberts.
he could have had many more planned.
Kenzie, what about, like, obviously you did interviews with a couple
Yeah.
of people about Roberts and like who he was,
Yeah.
just like I asked Kai. What were their thoughts about?
Well, I did do an interview on 2 people, one knowing Marcel and then one knowing Roberts. So they both want to stay anonymous because, you know, they don't want their names being put
But
on
you
the
wanted
podcast.
both
Yeah.
perspectives of the
Yeah.
people.
Okay, so the first person knowing Marcel was when the incident happened, you know, he lived right next to Marcel's house. So it was like quite scary for him. Like he was like explaining to me, like stating, oh, there was like loads of police cars like outside his house, you know. Everyone was like, what is going on? Like all the neighbours were nosy. And then they found out, you know, that Marcel had killed someone. So everyone was like, what the hell? Like everyone was shocked. But then the thing is, people were like taking it out on the parents, which is, I mean, I'm not sure like how much the parents has to do with it, because you know Marcel was only 14, but loads of people was like egging his parents' house, you know, throwing tissue at his house, you know, just shouting at his house, you know,
Did
banging
he have
doors.
like not a great childhood or?
Well, no, he didn't have I wouldn't say a traumatic childhood, but his parents were just like not there, you know. They was quite distant or caught up with work, which definitely can impact on how a child thinks and like probably looks up to like people other than his parents, which probably had that impact on like, oh, I'm just going to bring a knife and I'm going to kill someone.
That gave him that influence to be like,
Yeah.
oh, this is okay because I've not been taught by a parent
Yeah.
of like what's not okay, what's not right, like what's right, what's not. Yeah.
Yeah. There was also a time where Marcel was 10 years old. He went to St. Nicholas Primary School and he brought a knife into the school and he threatened a 10-year-old girl and threatened everyone else. So
Was there any reason behind it, or was it just?
there was no reason whatsoever. He just brought a knife in. I'm not sure who he got influenced by, but obviously, you know, his parents weren't there to know.
So he definitely from a young age had that
Yeah.
type of thing in the back of his mind, being like, oh, this is okay,
Yeah.
even if people are like scared of me.
Yeah, but you just wonder, surely after that incident, the parents would have taken measures to make sure that he couldn't get his hands on a knife.
Again,
His
parents
yeah.
never know what really happens with their child.
Well, you've got to. How do you not know that
Especially
he's
if-
taken a knife in school? Surely the school tell you.
Oh, 100%. They definitely told the parents because, like, parents are the first people you notify if anything like that happens. But what I mean is, I don't think the parents would acknowledge the fact or make them think in the back of their head as like, my child will murder someone.
Yeah, true. You wouldn't think that when he's only 10, would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he might have brought him out to school because he saw someone do it, which then you get told off by it. But you wouldn't think or be like, oh yeah, my child's gonna murder someone, but I'm not gonna tell him off because like I don't know if he's gonna do it or not.
Could you think that he was influenced by stuff he'd seen on TV or stuff he'd seen on YouTube?
I think that he might have been
100%.
influenced by other people in his life because Marcel was known as, you know, like, well, a roadman, as what they say. You know, hanging out with like gangs of people, like different people, you know, who sell drugs, you know, move cannabis, you know, just in
he
that
was
way.
around the wrong people,
Yeah.
which I think, in my opinion,
Yeah.
which I think is why he went for Roberts himself.
Definitely
'Cause
had
he
an
was-
impact.
Because Roberts was nice, like he was very known, he was very loved by everyone else. I think that's why he was targeted by, not targeted, but like the reason that Marcel did that.
Yeah, I
was
think he was
it was
like-
the complete opposite of what he was, and did it because that's what he wanted to be, but could never be it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just think that's what Marcel, I think Marcel saw that and thought, why can't that be me? And I think he thought, well, maybe by killing Roberts, he can take Roberts' personality. I don't know.
Can't do that.
I
Doesn't
feel,
give an
yeah.
excuse to
There is
like,
no excuse.
killing someone.
It's more of definitely more of like an attention thing when you think about it, because you know.
Like cry for help.
Yeah, but when you go as far to murder someone, you're going to get attention, just not the right kind.
Doesn't matter how you get attention. People to get attention by doing anything these days.
Especially when you have parents that don't listen to you or like are there for you.
Yeah. Most parents out are either worried about work, like with him.
Corporate
Some
work.
might have like
yeah.
younger siblings with mental issues, which is a really big deal nowadays.
Do we know if Marcel had any siblings?
I'm not sure he did, no.
He might have, do we know if he had any relatives that had gone away for any time or anything?
At the end of the day, talking about Marcel, we're trying to not sympathise, but trying to understand why he did what he did. But at the end of the day, doesn't excuse what he did.
Yeah, there is no reason why.
There's always the question of why he did it, or what was the reason.
But it's never going to be valid.
There's never going to be an answer to like keep him innocent, because there's no way that could happen.
Definitely, because there's obviously a backstory on why he did it, which obviously like Kai said, a week before the incident happened, Marcel also had conflict with a guy named Tadas, who he also beat up in that moment, just a week before Roberts' like murder. So that's obviously another part of like what Marcel was doing as a person, how he was. Trying to act like big and hard for his age, just getting in there. And then also when that happened, there was like another incident where when Marcel did bring the cannabis in, he thought that Roberts was going to snitch on him, and then he got kicked out, and then I think that he thought
that's what led him to the plan of the murder.
There was also like different conflict outside of the investigation where Marcel and Roberts was, fighting over a girl. So I'm not sure if that like had anything to do with the murder. But
yeah, like you just don't know though, to be fair, whether I'm not trying to justify it or anything, whether he started only to hurt Roberts and not to murder him, whether he started to put him in hospital or to scare him, and then he got carried away and just carried on because he's got carried away. Like, I'm not trying to justify it, but that could be...
It could be like a moment type of thing.
Yeah.
We all do it. You do one thing and then you actually realise what you're doing it, but you're still carrying on until your brain actually shuts you off and tells you to stop. Could have been one of those moments, but if he was, again, like you said, he messaged someone saying that it was going to happen, he was...
Yeah, but like...
It was planning
on murdering him.
But with that message, you could text someone it's happening when you're going to jump someone.
Yeah. You can never tell, but...
But it definitely seems like the plan was there the whole time.
Martin's the person that he texted.
The plan to injure Roberts was the idea.
Talking about Martin, he went out with Martin the next day, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
And then he got the news. They got the news that Roberts was dead. I think Martin turned around to him and went, "Have you seen this?" And Marcel went, "I feel sick. I'm going home."
And then that's when it all happened.
Could have been guilt. That's why he decided to go home.
Or he was scared.
Could have been, scared that he was going to get caught. It could literally be anything.
Yeah.
What led the police on to believe that it was Marcel in the first place, though?
Because, obviously there was evidence of, fingerprints, stabbings. Because Marcel also, cut himself, and I think their blood mixed in the crime scene.
But for that, they would have to have already had Marcel in the system.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what happened then, but Marcel was definitely in the system because, the week before he did fight Tadas.
Yeah, there is that.
And then that obviously got caught with the police as well.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense then.
Whereas as a child as well, brought a knife into school, that would have definitely had some type of...
repercussion.
Even a tiny investigation.
And I'm sure there was also cameras around the wooded area in Fishtoft.
Yeah, there is, because...
yeah, and that's what,
Even if there wasn't cameras, I feel like there would have been someone that would have said something.
Yeah.
Especially the person that he messaged.
I
feel like he had a play part in it.
Yeah, definitely.
Didn't he try and burn his clothes and balaclava or something?
Yeah, he did try to burn everything, but obviously he couldn't.
He didn't
burn
have
it
the
all.
time for it because it was literally the next day.
But yeah. Also, talking about the wooded area in Fishtoft, whilst the murder happened, Marcel put an 18-inch wound in his neck, like tried to decapitate him, like as Kai said, and then he also tried cutting his fingers off, you know, leaving body parts everywhere, which obviously didn't happen.
That just goes back to the whole spiral of him being like, oh, maybe it was just to try and jump him. If he was ready to decapitate someone, actually get him to put himself in the mindset to be like, you know what, this is how I'm going to do it. He knew what he was doing. He definitely had it planned that it was going to be murder and not just a scare.
Because, you know, he also stated when he was talking to the jury, like, oh, I got caught up in the moment, you know,
so
it was self-defense.
So he tried to use the excuse that I've just talked about them.
But at the same time, you know, stabbing someone like 70 times, trying to decapitate someone.
Let alone even once or twice. You'd have to have the guts to actually do it.
And then after that, he pled for manslaughter, which is obviously not true because you just stabbed someone 70 times, decapitated them, tried to cut their fingers off, their hands, you know, just like limbs. And then, it's just, that's not manslaughter, that's just straight up murder.
The funny thing is, he's only been put away for 17 years, whether that's because he's a child or not.
Age does play a part in a lot of things, though.
But still, he's murdered someone, he shouldn't be let out.
Absolutely not.
Especially if you murder someone at a young age, I think that's gonna have an impact.
Or he should put in like a rehab place, something like that, where it's gonna help him. Because there's a
I personally don't believe in those type of things because I think they're such a waste. Because you're there going to be talking about someone, trying to get them to be better when you know for a fact that if they're capable of doing something like that,
they're going to do it again. Because, you know, it's all in your mind. It's all the mentality, you know, the psychology of...
You got your mind to do that. You know that you're capable of doing it again. Why would you not be willing to do it again?
Yeah.
And, you know, you get away with it for the first time, like getting put in a place, thinking that they're thinking you're going to get better. You know, it just put yourself in Marcel's, like, situation, like, oh, they're letting me off, I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
You know, just that type of thing.
I see what you mean when you're saying age plays a part, because there was another case that happened involving, like, a 40-year-old man and a 9-year-old girl. It happened 4 years ago, but he was only put away, like, the other day, and he's been put away for life. But obviously, I guess that because he's 40 and Marcel was only, 14?
14.
Yeah.
Probably because that was a big age difference. They were only 14 and 12. And
so it's only 2 years.
It was 2 years difference, and I think because he was so young, putting him for life felt worse than actually dealing with the fact that he murdered a child. Probably because he was still a child himself, which is what I was going to ask. What is your opinion about the whole thing? We'll go with Kenzie first.
Well, my opinion on the whole thing, considering they were like very close friends, 4 months up to the murder, is quite concerning because, you know, your friend in the woods in Boston, Lincolnshire is also, you know, stabbed in the back, like as Kai said. But yeah, it's also quite scary how someone could, you know, you just never know what they're gonna do. 70 times stab, you know, a 14-year-old boy and a 12-year-old boy. And him not knowing like what was happening, you know, it's pretty screwed up. I think it's kind of scary.
It's definitely scary.
Yeah.
What about you, Kai?
Yeah, like Kenzie said, the fact they were friends is just over me. Like, you can't really be friends with someone and then go stab them. That is a literal betrayal and a literal stab in the back.
Maybe the only reason that he became friends was because that was his whole plan.
I doubt that he would have had that plan for them. Though I guess you can have. I guess
they got
psychopaths can have their plans premeditated for years.
True.
So whether he is a psychopath or not, who knows? It's going to be, he has to be assessed by a psychologist for that. So
100%. I think the only reason I'm saying that, like, we were talking about how he pre-planned a murder. Because we think, not theoretical, but we think on theory, the reason he murdered Roberts was because he was so loved by many people and he wanted that. Maybe that's why, in my head.
He just went the wrong way about it.
Yeah, this is my speculation. That's why he became friends with Roberts in the first place. Actually go through with it. Because he found someone nice and was like, I don't want that.
That's
But
true.
thank you so much for being on here for me.
Of course.
Yeah.
I appreciate and learning so much about it, and I hope everyone else understands that, like,
Yeah.
friendships, they are strong,
Yeah.
but you never know who to trust.
And it's
Thank you for having
scary.
us.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you for watching.
This was Crime Mukbang. Thank you so much for watching.
Peace.
Bye.
Thank
Okay.
you.
That was actually pretty good.